Yo, it's your friendly neighborhood knucklehead here, and in this video I'm going to talk about 3 steps that you can take towards a more sober lifestyle and becoming a more sober artist. And I'm also going to talk about how my journey towards sobriety left me becoming an artist and straying away from the addict or the substance user identity and into the artist, creative person identity. And that was a big shift for me in just getting rid of the habits of using substances. Now, everybody has a different path to sobriety, and it's not a one-size-fits-all model. But if you notice that substances are starting to get in the way of your creativity, or if it's just getting in the way of your life in general, it's starting to come up with problems, if it's starting to cost too much, if you're noticing time slipping away, or even if you're using substances as a source of creativity, it's just time to take back the power. It's time to take your power back, take the power away from these substances, and get the source from within you. Now, the first step here for a lot of people is going to be to confront what is keeping you down. What are you avoiding? What are we avoiding? What is the story that we're telling us to where we keep going back to the habit of using substances? When I was a teenager, the story I told myself was that I was a mistake. And this is kind of before I even started a life of a musician or as an artist. I was just a teenager going to high school, and I wasn't really doing anything particularly that great. I wasn't a great student. I was kind of lost in the sauce of it all, but I went to a pretty rigorous high school that really pushed academics, but I just wasn't achieving as an academic. So the story that I told myself was that I was just a big mistake. My parents had me before they got married, and my relationship to my parents and my parents' relationship wasn't all that great. So I started to tell myself that, man, if I was never born, then maybe my parents would not have gotten married. Maybe they wouldn't be so unhappy. It's all my fault for being born that my parents are so unhappy. So I started to internalize and hate myself for all of their misery and for all of their issues. And I think maybe a lot of children do that as well. They're just internalizing the problems that their parents have. So after identifying what that story is, and it's going to be a process, it's not just going to be overnight. It might even come with therapy or getting a professional. I mean, I know that I had to get put into a hospital to confront my situation. But once you're able to really confront what's going on, then we can start to understand how to remedy this the right way. Number 1, you have to forgive yourself. The path towards sobriety, I feel like, is forgiving yourself for whatever happened in the past. And just because you think of yourself as an addict, and even if you think you're just an awful person, forgive yourself for your past so that you can move forward in a positive direction. You can apologize to the people around you, and you can apologize to yourself by just showing everybody and showing yourself the change that you know you want to see in yourself, and you know that others would want to see in you. Show, don't tell. Don't just talk about, I'm going to get clean, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a superstar, I'm going to be an artist, but just show it. What are the things you're going to do each and every day to show that? Once we accept the fact that we need to show people that we're going to be a different person, all of that time and energy that went towards using substances is now going to have to go towards something else. It's going to be replacing habits, replacing your old identity with the new things that you're going to do. you're gonna have to also identify who the enablers are in your life. And it might be time to separate yourself from that. Once you're forgiving yourself, you're gonna have to love yourself. You're gonna have to sit with yourself for a little bit and put the pieces back together. And part of that is knowing that you're gonna have some free time, especially if substances are taking up a lot of your daily activities. And with the context of being creative as an artist, it might be really hard to put yourself in a creative mindset if you've been using the substances to put you in that mindset. So it's going to be about practice and just picking up new habits, picking up new passions or hobbies. We can figure out the kind of artists that we want to be and then begin to make the steps towards becoming that person, becoming that identity. When I first got clean, when I first stopped using drugs and alcohol, my big obsession was chess. I just swapped one addiction for the other. And I went from not knowing how to play chess at all to becoming the president of the chess club in my high school, where I was doing like no extracurricular activities pretty much. And I went from nothing, zero, to the president of the chess club, to beating the teachers, beating everybody, and putting our high school on the map a little bit for the chess criteria and the chess team that we have. So you have the energy. You just need to be awakened. You need to be aware of it, and you need to figure out how to put it towards something. Put it towards something that is going to fulfill you more than just the temporary substances are doing. I have another video on reclaiming your creative identity, and you can watch that video right here. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, got value out of it, if things resonated with you, like it, subscribe to my channel. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree with some of the things that I said. I'm always up for hearing what you think. Cheers.